This is an interview that is a series that we've been running for people who have undertaken the Family Violence Leadership Intensives for the Alumni Network. So really interested to talk to you, particularly given you've had some very interesting leadership roles across your career so far. So Hutch currently works for the Brotherhood of St Lawrence as the Senior Manager, Refugees, Immigration and Multiculturalism, but has worked in a number of roles for Brotherhood of St Lawrence over the past 8 years. She's been a Deputy CEO at Spectrum, Migrant Resource Centre. She's also held some really significant political roles. She's been the State President of the Victorian ALP. She's been a Ministerial Advisor and the convener of Emily's List, which is a really interesting group, and was the successor to Joan Kerner in that role. So incredible legacy that Emily's List is having. She's also raising 2 sons with, as she described her to me, her 2 favourite isms, feminism and multiculturalism, down at Torquay. So thanks very much for your time this morning, Hutch.
Look forward to chatting, Micaela.
Okay, so you very clearly have a vehement commitment to advocating for cultural change across all of those different roles. There's a thread throughout them. In terms of the roles that you've held in changing political culture within the political organisation, particularly across the work you've done with Emily's List and in the Labor Party, can you talk about how important are processes and procedures to driving change? Talk a bit about what you see as the structure for driving change.
I think something that's really important for all leaders to know is that it's incumbent on them to make sure that the culture that they set is backed up by rules, because it's those structural levers that kind of then lead to change in culture, and help other people foster that culture, so you're not the only one doing that. So within the ALP, changing the rules in terms of affirmative action was really crucial to get women to step forward to seek elected office, and for the power brokers to look for women. In terms of addressing sexual harassment in the Victorian ALP, making sure that we had the rules in place so that it wasn't the victims of sexual harassment leaving the party, but it was the perpetrators leaving the party, because there were rules to enforce what we all said that we hold dear, which is the values of fairness and treating people equitably and equally. So changing the rules allows you to change the culture. I think that's been my biggest learning. And so sometimes we kind of see policies and procedures as dry, but they're really crucial to drive change.
And I think, Hutch, my experience in terms of reinforcing what you've described too is that making it more than just you as a leader. It's all very well to have very strong views about something and be the one that is driving something, but you've got to leave it so that it's sustainable after you move on and that other people pick it up.
Exactly.
And that's all about the rules. Yeah.
Really crucial. I think both in the affirmative action and the sexual harassment, it was getting cross-factional in the party sense, but also cross-gender kind of buy-in. It was really important for the men to come on board in both those instances, and to know that we weren't using the full talent pool if we didn't have affirmative action in place, knowing that it's not a level playing field, and that we knew that even though we were going to have the rules, it was about people feeling comfortable coming forward and knowing that their issues were going to be addressed, so that when the first complaint came forward, it was having that buy-in and the men around the room saying, no, we can't make an exemption. This has to go through the process. If we're serious, then we have to adhere to the rules in all cases. So having that buy-in ensures that you get the eventual decision, but also you get the continued implementation beyond your leadership role.
Yeah. So clearly, Hutch, you've spent your career working for organisations where you felt there's a values alignment. and my guess would be that's been a really important deciding factor for you about what you've spent your time doing. It's easy when everything's going well, to values are something that it's easy for everyone to sign up to when everything's going well. How do you work through situations when there is an issue about values alignment, or when there's a clash, when there's a clash within the organisation or the group you're working for?
Yeah, I think they're exactly as you say. It's easy to stick to your values when there is that alignment, and I've deliberately kind of sought that in my volunteering and in my paid roles. But you can also still come across people who don't necessarily share your values in every single decision. And so it's been really important for me to be really clear about what my values are, and to speak up and to highlight where I think that we're not being true to those values. And so it's meant having difficult conversations with either my CEO or others in the party that I share, to say we can't just say we believe in equity for the people we serve in terms of clients and participants, but we need to be true to that in our workforce. Equally, we can't just say that we think that workers should have safe workspaces where sexual harassment doesn't occur. But we need that for our volunteers and our members who engage in our party. Otherwise, we're going to see people drop off, and we're going to lose that engagement and not, again, use the full talent pool. So it's really important to be willing to have those strong conversations and be true, and to not just be a progressive leader, but be an ethical progressive leader.
Yeah. So, Hutch, my last question on that note is: you've worked across community service organisations and with government. What would your advice be to this group, the alumni who are thinking about and developing their leadership, particularly in the family violence space?
Yeah, I guess my advice is really to build up your knowledge and share that, because it's really crucial, the on-the-ground knowledge that you're seeking, and bringing that to a macro advocacy space and utilising that to channel into policy and advocacy. Secondly, getting a mentor and making sure that you are, having the opportunity to work out what's the next best step to take in your career, and or to kind of channel your energies. And lastly, make sure that you're using the privilege that you have to better the lot for those who are going to come up behind us. And I think that for me is the essence of feminist leadership. I put a strong emphasis on mentoring young women, but I make sure that I mentor young women, whether that's from queer or CALD backgrounds, people who I don't think are getting that mentoring elsewhere and who need that additional support, so they can benefit from the knowledge and experience that I've had. Yeah,
I think that's really critical, and you've definitely shown a commitment to that, Hutch. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me on, and best wishes to you and all the alumni. Hope they continue to make a difference.
Great. Thanks, Hutch.
Thank you.